Welcome back to the Sibling Group Chat. I'm Owen.
And I'm Cassidy.
And today we're back at it with the Odyssey review, episode 20, The Case of the Missing Train Car.
Yes, this is episode 21 of Adventures in Odyssey, and it originally aired on April 9th, 1988, and it is a part of the Officer Harley collection. If you don't know what that means, go back and listen to our previous episodes, we explain it. In this episode, when a model train car goes missing from Wits End, many kids suspect Michelle Terry, a girl with a bad reputation. And the themes are forgiveness and unconditional love. And I forgot to look up the episode number, but this is similar to when we reviewed Missed It by That Much, where they later reworked this episode without Officer Harley. The episode is called Where's My Silver Streak? Or The Case of the Missing Silver Streak.
Something like that.
Yeah, I forgot to look up the actual episode and number for anyone who's curious, but they did later redo this as a separate episode.
Yeah, and in that first episode we reviewed, it was basically any Officer Harley part was replaced by Jesse's part in the redone episode. In this episode, Officer Harley was pretty much replaced by Curt.
And I loved that so much. I was like, Curt is just the perfect replacement for Officer Harley. I felt like it made both Curt and Officer Harley funnier to me. Because I'm now probably going to forever compare them in my head.
Yeah.
Let me just say, this whole thing is delivered much better from a child. Because of course we're not going to take Curt seriously. But we should be able to take a police officer seriously. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the Chris intro is asking if you've ever been caught doing something you shouldn't be. And it's this little skit of these two guys who are breaking into a house. And they break into a surprise birthday party.
Yeah. Did you get the impression that the surprise party was actually for one of them? Or it wasn't for them, but they thought the house was empty because the people were hiding, waiting for the birthday person to come in?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay. It was kind of funny.
It was, yeah. Then what was with the theme?
Oh, that's what, at first I was like, this music is going on for a really long time.
But then I realized it's the same amount of time, just Wit never spoke.
I know, it's like they left the space for the Wit intro, but just forgot to put it in.
Well, and I wonder, because this one was after the Odyssey USA, so I wonder if they took that out, but then that also just never put Wit back in, or if they just decided Wit wasn't necessary on this episode.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, at first I was like, because the music went up, and so you were ready for Wit, and then it came back down, and it just kept going, and you're like, what is going on here? But yeah, they forgot to put Wit in there, and I'm sure they realized it later, but they're like, we're not going to air this episode again, it's fine.
Yeah.
No one will notice.
So yeah, the story is still about Michelle Terry. If you've listened to the redone version, she's the only, her and Wit are the only characters that don't change.
Yeah, it's even the same voice later that does Michelle.
Is it?
I thought so.
I knew it was similar. I couldn't tell if it was the same.
I think it was the same one. And while we're talking about voices, our other kid in the story is Warren, who I thought sounded like a girl. So until they referenced his pronouns as he, I was writing him in my notes as Lauren.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I thought it sounded like a girl, and I was expecting it to be a girl because in the redone version, it's Tracy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was hearing them say Warren with a W, but I was like, it sounds like a girl. It sounds like a girl, so they must be saying Lauren, and I'm just hearing it wrong. But no, it's a boy, so I guess boys can be named Lauren, but I'm pretty sure it was Warren with a W.
It was Warren.
It was Warren. Warren.
Yeah. So yeah, we learn as Chris introduces us to the episode that all the train cars on Wit's model train set are made by Wit and the kids, which maybe we knew before, but I don't think so.
She says it also in the redone version, but I don't remember hearing it anywhere else.
Yeah.
I just Chris is just a big fan of the train set. Any chance Chris has to hype up the train set, she is hyping it up. She's like, it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Well, and this is where it's the biggest in the state, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's at least once where it's mentioned as just being the biggest in the county.
Yeah, well, it was um, addictions can be habit forming. Is that our problematic weight episode?
Yes.
Um, yeah, they reference it as the biggest in the county there, I think. So maybe it's
Okay.
grown in the last few months.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, we get introduced to Michelle, who had made a blue caboose, which Warren thought was odd because cabooses are red. Everybody knows that. Um, but he, I still have it written as she in my notes right there.
I
He,
know. I went back and corrected everything, and then put Warren sounds like a girl.
well, I corrected it, I thought, but I missed one right here, I guess. He
Yeah.
had made an engine that was perfect in every way called the Silver Streak. I gotta say, I like this better as a girl. Like, maybe it's not only because it sounds like a female voice, it's just because I've listened to the one where it's Tracy who made the Silver Streak. I just like it better as Tracy.
Yeah, it's just it's supposed to be Tracy in
Yeah.
our heads.
Hmm.
I wonder if they changed it because they were asking Curt as a boy. So they were like, we don't need two boys ganging up on this girl, Michelle. So they changed it to be Tracy.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know what other new Odyssey kid would it have been? Because like no one else is known for their trains other than
Yeah.
Jenny, and she doesn't actually live in Odyssey. So
Yeah,
I think it had to be Tracy.
probably. Or, yeah, probably.
Or it could have been they could have made it so Curt was the only kid and like he had made this train and then he's investigating it, but I don't think Curt can make a model train.
Not that looked good.
No. It has to be Tracy.
It would have taken way too much concentration for Curt.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I've always thought was funny about both this one and the other one, though, is when Warren is like, I made it perfect in every way. It even works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's
if
always
it
been
was
funny.
perfect in every way, duh,
Has
it
to
works.
work. Yeah. And isn't that the whole point of making a model train for the train set? It has to
Yeah.
work.
I've always thought
Yeah.
that line is pretty stupid, in my opinion. But
Yeah, me too. Or just funny.
anyway,
Stupid might be a strong word.
uh, so then Tom Riley is here. He is Michelle's foster parent person in this episode. Uh, Not in the redone episode. It's a lady named Doreen
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah. Okay. I have to go off on a happy little nerd tangent right here because Tom tells us that he and his wife Agnes are fostering Michelle. And I was just so happy that she was referenced as Agnes here because um she his wife Agnes deals with mental health issues much later in Odyssey, but for the most part you don't hear from Tom's wife except for I looked this up, album 49, Thank You God, when Tom and his wife and a bunch of other people have Thanksgiving with Wit at Wit's End. And in that
You mean
episode, I never
episode?
thought her name was Agnes.
Episode? Episode?
What? Did I
In
say album?
episode 49. You said album.
Yes. Oh, yes. Episode 49, Thank You God. And I could never remember what her name was in that episode, but when she's later introduced as Agnes, I always felt like that was different from what it was in this episode. But I went back and checked. Her name was Agnes in that episode, so that's not as contradictory as I thought it was. Also, in that episode, they have a young boy staying with them. It doesn't seem like a whole foster care situation, like I think it's just a short-term thing. But I just like how well this ties together with what we know of Tom and Agnes later on.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah. And I also, like, I want to know now, like, what made them start fostering kids. And my theory is, granted, Agnes is not Tom Riley's first wife. She's not the wife of his son, Timmy. But I think that because they had this boy, PT, staying with them when Timmy died, between knowing how they affected PT's life and then dealing with the loss of Timmy, I think that's what made them start fostering kids.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's my happy little tangent. You may continue.
All right. So this is where we, the audience, find out that Michelle is from juvenile detention, or had been in juvenile detention before she went to be with Tom and Agnes. And Tom is just thanking Whit for letting Michelle be at Whit's end, and Whit doesn't think thanks are necessary. Like, he thinks that she's not in juvenile detention anymore because she was on good behavior, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be allowed in. And then he also says, like, and she's actually very good at crafts, which is going to make it really difficult to choose. And Tom's like, choose what? And Whit has to choose a car because the state fair wants a train car made by one of the kids to be displayed at the state fair. Just curiosity. If Whit's got the biggest train set in the state, why don't they just, like, take the whole thing to the state fair?
Maybe they have before. And they're like, okay, we need something new. We don't need the whole thing.
New. I need something fresh.
Yeah. I knew you were going to do that.
So then Connie calls up and asks if Warren is up there. I don't like the name Warren in this episode.
No, and I feel like not only because we were confused on if he was a boy or a girl, but also it's a hard name to hear correctly. So every time we are saying it, we're emphasizing the W so that our audience isn't as confused as we were.
Yeah, like, Warren.
Yes, not Lauren.
Anyway, Connie asks if Warren is up there, and because his mother is there to take him to the dentist. And Warren's like, oh, but I got to put my train car away. And Michelle's like, I can put away the silver streak. I know right where it goes. And at this point, honestly, Michelle probably intended to put it away because she doesn't know at this point yet about the state fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then Connie also wants Whit to come down because the vacuum's eating the carpet. And then she tells him to hurry because Warren's mom is honking.
Mm-hmm.
And then Whit says, come on, Warren, we better get down there before the vacuum starts honking and your mom starts eating the carpet.
Yeah. This is always one of my favorite lines from the later episodes, so I'm glad to know it was in the original as well.
I just wanted to point out, this is the first time we've seen Connie in a while, isn't it?
Well, no, she was just in Recollections.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So she was 2 episodes ago. Before Recollections, we had a member of the family, which had Jimmy, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was there 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, then we go to the next day. We find Officer Harley in place of Curt, or Curt was replacing Officer Harley, but this is where we knew Curt to be here.
And I just love that Officer Harley's first line is what also becomes Curt's first line.
Yeah, except for, is Curt drinking a root beer?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Officer Harley is drinking a root beer, and he's like, nothing like a glass of root beer to help you unwind after a long, hard day.
And Whit goes, has it been one of those days?
Like, been one of what? Like, long and hard. Oh, not particularly. But if it had, it would have helped unwind.
Yeah. You know, now that you questioned me on it, Curt might have been drinking lemonade.
I was thinking a milkshake, but...
Oh, a milkshake? I think it's root beer.
I don't know. Maybe it was a combination milkshake, root beer, lemonade, or something. I don't know.
That sounds disgusting. And you never describe a milkshake as a nice cold milkshake because a milkshake is always cold. You could have a room temperature root beer.
That's true.
You're not going to say, nothing like a nice cold milkshake. Like, a nice cold root beer makes sense.
Well, I mean, if you had a warm milkshake, you'd be having soup.
Milk.
So. Yeah, milk. Anyway, Warren comes in and says that, or Whit asks him about how the dentist was. He says, I've got no cavities. Of course, I never have. And I was like, oh, my mother was that way. She has false teeth. And I really miss in the redone version, Tracy just has a little comment because she's the one who went to the dentist. She's like, of course I never do. And Kurt's like, oh, my grandma was that way. She has false teeth. And Tracy goes, how interesting.
Yeah.
I really miss that line.
I know. It is really funny, but I think my guess
the reason how fascinating, I don't remember, but
I think she's like, how fascinating, but in like a I don't care way. But I think that works better as a kid to kid dynamic where a kid wouldn't be that like sarcastic to an adult.
I guess I missed that line.
I know. It is a
And
really funny line.
specifically Tracy's delivery of it, but
Yeah. Yeah. How fascinating.
yeah. Um, yeah, so then Warren says he's going to go check on his silver streak. And Officer Harley is confused because he's thinking, like, a silver streak in your hair, which why a kid would have that is beyond me. But this is Officer Harley we're talking
Well,
about.
they could actually genetically have one. I've had a friend who just they had a silver streak in their hair and it couldn't even be dyed out. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's confused. Then Whit explains that it's a model train engine or a model engine. And Officer Harley is still confused. And if you want to know why, we recommend that you go listen to the episode yourself.
Yep, we are not going to say what Officer Harley said. We'll just say he understood the word engine. And I now completely understand why he was written out, because this was very wrong of him.
It was, at the same time, it's not really Officer Harley's fault himself.
No, it's the writers.
This is a writing problem.
Yeah, but yeah, we're not going to say it because we don't want to get flagged or anything. Yeah. Not that, I mean, yeah, it's a bad word, not like a bad curse word, but a bad, we don't use that word. Yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't, you can go listen if you want.
Yes. Don't say we recommended it to you, but if you happen to want to know, go ahead and listen.
Well, you can say we recommended the episode, because the episode on a whole is fine, but don't just go listen because we said go listen for this one word.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, Whit gets it cleared up, and then he starts to tell Officer Harley about that Warren's train engine is going to be displayed at the state fair. And Officer Harley is like, oh, I can hear just how he'll react. And then Warren goes, I don't remember what he says. I was going to...
I yelled help.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. He goes, in
the new one, Tracy screams.
Yeah, screams. Okay. I had written down these screams, and then so as I was about to say what he said, then I was trying to think if he screamed, and that ended up being me going like, Anyway, disregard my confusion. Yes, Warren screams for help, and he's like, someone call the police, the FBI, the National Guard, someone call 911. And again, I miss Tracy's delivery. It's just so much better.
I know. But did he actually, as you're saying, did Warren say all of those things? Because Tracy says all of those things. Did he say them all?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember for sure. But yeah, you're definitely, as you read it, you delivered it like Tracy, not like Warren.
Uh-huh.
Because Tracy just has good delivery.
Yeah.
Nice delivery.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the three go to look upstairs. Well, first Officer Harley tells everybody who's in Wit's End that they're suspects. Then Wit's like, hold your horses. Let's just go upstairs and look for it. So they go upstairs, look for it, and they don't find it. So Officer Harley starts an investigation. And I miss Curt's investigation because this makes us miss the line of Whit telling Curt not to let it get out of hand, and then Curt like, Mr. Whitaker, would I let anything get out of hand?
Oh, let me count the ways.
It's just it's so many things I miss from the redone version.
Yeah, but also when it's a kid and it's Curt, it's funnier, and it lets Mr. Whitaker guide the actual investigation, because this is just Curt is just a kid, whereas when you have an actual police officer. Officer Harley's a police officer, so they kind of have to take him seriously, as goofy as he is.
Yeah, it's true.
So I feel like it's better when as it's Curt, it's a kid, and so Mr. Whitaker can guide the investigation to an extent.
Yeah. So first of all, he clears Whit, because Whit had an alibi. He was downstairs helping Connie with the vacuum. Then he asks about Michelle Terry. Well, actually, he asks about Terry. They fill him in, it's Michelle Terry.
Again, another line I missed. Because later you have Michelle Terry and Mrs. Charles. And so Curt asks about Michelle and Terry and Charles.
He's like, no, not Michelle and Terry and Charles. It's Michelle Terry and Miss Charles.
Yeah, I missed that line.
Yeah, I did too. But then this is where there's a little bit of deviation from the redone version, because Officer Harley already knows who Michelle Terry is because she had been in juvenile detention. And this is actually one of the first times I've ever been like, Officer Harley actually has somewhat of an idea of what he's doing.
I know.
Because he says he makes it a point to know all the juvenile delinquents that are like at other or former juvenile delinquents who are at like homes in the area.
Yeah. Which, thinking back, 2 episodes ago, we reviewed Recollections, which said that there weren't that many juvenile delinquents in Odyssey. But here, we're talking with one, and I feel like going forward, Rodney ends up in juvenile detention a few times. I think Richard spends some time there. And all these kids go to Wit's End. So don't tell Jenny that her argument didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Odyssey has more juvenile delinquents when it's portrayed as a bigger town, and it's just like this perfect little town when it's a little town.
Yeah. The size and population of Odyssey changes episode by episode. For all time, I feel like. I feel like they never quite iron that one out.
No, Odyssey is a small town, but whether that's we have 215 people small town or we have 5 to 10,000 people small town, I'm not sure.
Yeah. It varies from episode to episode. But anyway, yes, Officer Harley does surprisingly already know about Michelle and her past.
Yeah. So he tells Whit and Warren, which Whit obviously already knew about it. And Warren's like, "Why didn't you tell us, Mr. Whitaker?" And Mr. Whitaker's like, "Because I didn't want you to jump to conclusions." But what I miss is when Curt had to go learn this himself. He had to do some research. And so when he comes back, he's like, "I've learned some very interesting things." And Tracy goes, "What kind of things?" "Very interesting ones."
Interesting ones. Yeah. So many missed lines because Curt is just funnier than Officer Harley.
Yeah. And again, I think it is because, like you're saying, because he's a kid.
Like, Officer Harley has funny lines, but they're not as funny because he should be more serious.
Yeah, that is why they got rid of the character.
Yeah. I really am starting to see it now. He deserves to be gone after this episode.
Yeah. When we first started the Officer Harley episodes, we weren't quite sure. I think we're pretty sure now.
This one really sealed the deal.
Yeah. And it also, it just makes sense why they decided to go the Harlow Doyle route later down the road.
Because as the Odyssey writers or producers themselves say, while it's not good to make fun of a police officer, it's perfectly acceptable to make fun of a private detective.
Exactly. So yeah, they decide that they should go talk to Michelle at the Tom Riley's farm. So Officer Harley takes them to Tom Riley's farm with the siren on.
Yeah.
Was that really necessary?
Not at all. But it reminds me of later in Odyssey. I didn't think about this till just now. But the episode where Rodney gets in trouble for stealing apples from Tom's farm. And Officer Orion rides up to Tom's place with the sirens on. And Tom's like, "What in the world?" But it's just because Rodney wanted to hear the sirens.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode, though?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it's the whole retelling of the parable of the unforgiving servant, because Rodney gets forgiven for this bad thing he does, but then he goes and beats up a kid for $1 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this version, one thing I noticed is when they ask Michelle, they're like, "You were the last one to see the Silver Streak, weren't you?" And in this version, Michelle is like, "Yeah, probably." In the redone version, she says, "I don't know, was I?"
Oh, yeah, see, I didn't even remember that.
She's much more defensive in the redone version.
Yeah. Yeah, here I think she does here I think she does a better job of playing off her innocence from the get-go.
Yeah.
Whereas the later one, you're never quite convinced that she didn't do it.
Yeah, well, and I even thought with Chris's intro, it made it sound like that this was a story about them thinking someone did something, but she actually didn't do it.
Yeah.
But she actually
I think that's because Whit just really wanted to believe the best of her. And so Whit goes the whole time believing she didn't do it, which I guess we've now spoiled for anyone who doesn't know she did do it. But
Yeah.
at this point, we don't know for sure she didn't do it.
Uh-huh. And so, through the course of the conversation, they decide, and Officer Harley decides that Michelle is probably the prime suspect. Like, it seems pretty possible and likely that it was her. And so Officer Harley starts to arrest her on the spot. Like,
yeah, he's reading her the Miranda rights.
And it's as we go to commercial break, too. Like, obviously, we don't have commercials now because we're not listening to it on the radio. But if you had at some point, this is where you would have had a commercial break.
It fades out, and then it fades back in, and he's still going off.
Oh, yeah. He just said the Miranda rights. Now all I can think of, pretty sure the Miranda rights only apply to people named Miranda. Simple fact.
Simple fact. Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yep. But Tom stops him from reading her rights. But Officer Harley says there's too much going on here. So he takes her into the station for questioning.
Yeah, well, Tom stops him because he says he can't arrest her because no one has pressed charges. And so Warren's like, oh, I'll press charges.
Yeah. Officer Harley takes her to the station, and then Tom, Whit, and Warren were going to follow. But then Tom says, poor kid, and Warren's confused. He's like, I don't think she's a poor kid. I think she's getting what she deserves. And Mr. Whitaker says he doesn't think so because there's no concrete evidence. And Warren's like, I don't want anyone to get hurt. I just want this mess to be cleaned up. And that gives Whit an idea about how they can solve the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Warren didn't even say that line wrong, but I really miss Tracy.
She delivered every line so well.
Uh-huh.
This episode is actually just a Tracy appreciation post.
Yes.
We love you, Tracy, for the short time you were in Odyssey.
Yeah, Whit and Warren get dropped off at Whit's End because they go to talk to Connie. And this is just a funny part. It's like, Whit comes in and Connie was reading the newspaper, so she starts wiping off the counter with the newspaper. He's like, I was just cleaning the counter, and Whit's like, with a newspaper?
Yeah, he calls her out on it, but then he's like, okay, we actually have things to do, so I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Yeah. So they ask Connie about her cleaning yesterday, and she cleaned the train's top to bottom, and Warren is still convinced that it was Michelle, but Whit thinks it's possible Connie accidentally threw away the train. So they go to look in the dumpster to see if they can find it. They don't get a chance because the garbage truck had just come and emptied the dumpster. But they find a set of train wheels. I don't think they say where. In the redone one, they found them on the ground.
Yeah.
But they are convinced that must mean that Connie threw the train away.
Mm-hmm.
So then Warren goes to apologize to Michelle.
Well, they all do.
Yeah, and Whit's like, I think we all should. So they go to apologize, and everybody is apologizing, and somebody says something about they all should apologize, and Officer Harley's like, except for Whit, he stuck by her to the very end. And then she thanks him and says it's a good thing he found the wheels. Now, this is the same idea about the redone episode, but it happens a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she thanks him and says, good thing you found those wheels. And Officer Harley's like, wait, what wheels? Because apparently Whit had just told him they found a piece of the train, not the wheels. And so she ends up...
No, I think he had found the wheels, but he hadn't told anybody he found the wheels.
No, that's what I just said. He said
he found a piece.
Yeah, that's what
he told them he found a piece.
He told them he found a piece.
But he didn't say what it was.
He didn't say what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so this is how they figured out that Michelle had done it, because she said, how'd you find the wheels or whatever? And he hadn't said they were wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And so Warren's like, you did do it, didn't you? Didn't you? Again, bring back Tracy. Or,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm never going to listen to this version of this episode again.
Well, there's many reasons not to.
Yeah. I miss Curt and I miss Tracy.
Yes. And we don't like Officer Harley.
But yeah, Michelle's not sorry at all. She doesn't care. She just wanted her train car to be displayed at the state fair. and so she says like, take me back to juvenile detention or Oak Creek Detention Center or whatever.
Mm-hmm. She's
And
just she's just not sorry at all. And then it really got me in the feels at the end where she's not at all sorry, and Whit goes, "Michelle, I forgive you," and like she
yeah,
doesn't care, but just like him
that's
saying,
not
"Michelle, I
in the new
forgive you."
yeah
That's not in the
that's
new
not in
one,
the
but
new
I don't know.
version.
It got my heart. I was like, "Oh, so sweet of Whit."
Yeah,
Not of
I
Michelle.
did like that. I kind of wish they would have left that part in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends with Whit, and he's like in his office at Whit's End, and he's really bothered about how this situation ended up in Whit's End because it's supposed to be a place where kids can be safe from the real world. And
Mm-hmm.
Connie comes in, and he's like kind of trying to wonder like how he could have done anything different. Connie's like, well, I don't think she wanted to be helped. Like she knew that she could, and she didn't want to. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're like that, there's just nothing else you can do. But then after she leaves, Whit's like, no, there's always one other thing you can do. And so the episode ends with Whit praying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so then there's Chris's outro. Sometimes it hurts when people betray your trust, but we still have to practice showing God's love. And then she talks about 1 Corinthians 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the episode. Any final thoughts?
I think we covered all the thoughts. We like the second episode better. We can obviously see why they got rid of this one. They could have kept every other Officer Harley episode, and I think they still would have made the decision to change this one. But yeah, the new one's just better. And maybe that's because we're more comfortable with Curt and Tracy being in it, but I think they really did do a better job than Warren and Officer Harley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So, yeah, I guess that
Mhm.
about does it for this one.
Yep.
What's our
And
next
next
episode?
week, yes, our next episode is episode 22, A Simple Addiction, and it is a lost episode. So, we will see what that one is all about next time.
Yep. So, as always, thank you for listening. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe on Spotify or YouTube or both. Um, yeah, comment any questions, concerns, things we got wrong, things you disagree with us on down below, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.